'Cause the music makes me high. And if I only got one more night, I'm gonna leave out loud goodbye.
This gonna be the type of night they make movies about.
What up?
Bitch niggas.
What up? It's your boy, Mr. Von. Mr. Von, Channel Sweatbox. We back. We live. We active here on the channel. Yes, indeed. You know how we do. Still dodging those digital jabs, baby. Woo! Let's talk House of the Dragon, episode 8. We're getting close to the finale. Only 2 episodes left. And you know, episode 9, Game of Thrones history is always a doozy. But this episode was something special. I mean, I don't know, since the original Game of Thrones, I don't think there's been another show that's for me on a week-to-week basis is must watch, is this highly anticipated. I cannot wait for Sundays to get here to watch House of the Dragon. And there's very few shows in him. Most of them are HBO shows, believe it or not, but there are very few shows in the history of television that get me this excited. Let's talk about House of the Dragon, man. So last week, after the debacle that was last week, we get another time jump, and this was apparently the last time jump that we're going to be getting, at least the last significant time jump that we're going to be getting in the series. I don't know for sure, maybe not. But it's been 6 years since the incident where Alicent slit Rhaenyra's wrist, where she slit Rhaenyra's wrist, and Rhaenyra and Daemon have been on Dragonstone. Alicent has been at King's Landing with Viserys, who is, I mean, man, this nigga has been dying more and more every week. I mean, every week. I'm like, how are you still alive? How are you still alive? Spoiler alert, he don't make it to the end of this week. He don't make it to the end of this episode. Actually, at the end. But anyway, we'll get to that. Yeah. This episode was a lot. There's like 3 major events that I want to talk about in this one. But first, let's talk about, well, I mean, obviously the episode starts on, where does the episode start? I don't even remember where the episode starts. But the key thing, Daemon goes to where Syrax has laid 3 more eggs, and he collects the dragon eggs. And then he finds out, well, they got to go to King's Landing. Oh yeah, it starts with the death of the sea snake. So apparently that's how it started. I almost forgot. So apparently the sea snake was hurt in the battle in the wars at the Stepstone, and he's either dead or he's on death's door, and it doesn't look like he's gonna survive. So now comes what happens to Driftmark. Who will be the Lord of Driftmark? Obviously, it's supposed to go to Jacaerys, but Corlys's brother Vaemon doesn't. He's like, nah, man, these little niggas is bastards, and they're not even Valyrian. They're white. Why do they get to take over Driftmark? I'm next in line. So that's his beef, and he's got a legitimate beef, but it's not gonna work out. Anyway, Rhaenyra and Daemon decide they're going to go back to King's Landing because they've heard that Vaemon is going to challenge for his claim to Driftmark. So they go so they can have an audience with Viserys so they can put in their claim for Driftmark. And that's basically what the episode is about, is the Lord. It's called the Lord of the Tide. So it's basically this time, Rhaenys is like, look, it should go to Baela. That was Laena's daughter. Laenor is dead. It should go to Baela. But Rhaenys is still very jaded towards Rhaenyra and Daemon because she thinks that they had Laenor killed. They don't know that Laenor's still alive. She doesn't know that Laenor's still alive. So she's still mad bitter towards Rhaenyra and Daemon. But Rhaenyra goes to Rhaenys and she says, look, we should betroth our children. I need you to understand. I loved your son. I didn't have him killed. I know you're mad at me, but I didn't do that. And Rhaenys is like, nah. The High Towers is about to knock you out. They about to strike a blow. And I'm not going to be near that. I'm going to stand on my own. So that's all happens. I'm not going in order, by the way. I'm not going in order in the episode. Meanwhile, Alicent got to deal with her crazy kids. Aegon apparently is just a piece of shit. I mean, it shows her talking to one of the servants. Her name was, I don't remember what her name was. I'm going to say it was Dara or something like that. Anyway, apparently Aegon violated her in a way that I'm not gonna say. Apparently, y'all could figure it out. Rhymes with tape. And the girl goes to Queen Alicent to tell her about it, and Alicent believes her, and she feels bad for her. She's like, "I need you to stop telling people about this. It's gonna come down on you." And then she gives the girl a bag of gold, and she makes the girl take the little plan T that was given to Rhaenyra in episode 2, or I think it was 2 or 3 or whatever. So after that, she goes to see Aegon, who's passed out in the bed, and she's like, "What are you doing? You disrespected the whole family." Aegon's like, "Whatever, I don't care. I'm out here trying to do me." Then that was a good scene, by the way. Then Rhaenyra, Daemon, Jacaerys, Lucerys, Joffrey all arrive to King's Landing, and they see Aemon sparring with Criston Cole in the courtyard. Aemon, now obviously 6 years older, a lot more grown up, still got his eye patch though, and Aemon has become quite the skilled fighter. As you can see, they're training and they're practicing. He's able to best Criston Cole, and I love it. He's like, "You'll win many tournaments." Daemon's like, "I don't give a shit about tournaments." Nephews, you came to train. He's still got a lot of business towards his nephews for cutting out his eye. So and you could tell you can tell Aemon's very testy about it. So Rhaenys and Daemon go see King Viserys, who is, like I said, I mean, he is on death's door. At this point, he's basically bedridden. Otto Hightower and Queen Alicent are basically running the Seven Kingdoms. They're basically running the kingdom. There's a cool little confrontation because when Rhaenyra and Daemon get there, they see that all the Targaryen flair, all the Targaryen stuff most of it's been put away, but now it's all the Faith of the Seven, the 7-pointed star and all that, because that's what they represent down in Old Town. Rhaenyra goes to see her father. She introduces her father to her 2 kids that she has with Daemon, and their names are, believe it or not, Aegon. We have another Aegon in the show, as if we don't have enough. And Viserys. So now it's Aegon, whatever, the 4th, the 15th. So we have, currently there are 2 Aegons. Aegon, Viserys' son, and Aegon, Rhaenyra's son. And then her other son is named Viserys after the king. Obviously, it's very cool, I like that. Daemon informs Viserys of the reason they're there, because of the challenge to the succession of Driftmark. Queen Alicent comes in and they have a few words. They question Alicent about, "Yo, why are you trying to kill my father with this milk of the poppy?" She's like, "Your father is dying anyway. We're just trying to keep him comfortable." So there's still that tension there. You can see when he drinks when Viserys asks for the tea, Daemon gives it to him. He sips it and Daemon smells it. He's like, Daemon knew something was up the minute he smelled the tea. He was like, yeah. So anyway, everybody's called together in the Great Hall, and King Otto Hightower is acting as is running the meeting. He's acting his hand. He's sitting in the throne, so he's basically acting as king, and he's there to hear Vaemon's claim for Driftmark. And Vaemon's over there saying, "Look, Driftmark should be mine. My brother doesn't have..." Rhaenyra's right there. She's like, "What about Jacaerys Valerian?" Corlys already named him heir. I don't know what you're talking about. So, or Lucerys. I don't remember. I always get the 2 confused. I don't remember who's older, Lucerys or Jacaerys. But then she's like, Lucerys is already in line. Yeah, it's Lucerys. Lucerys is the one who's supposed to be getting Driftmark, because he's the younger one. She's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Lucerys has already been named the heir. Vaemon, you're out of line. You're being disrespectful." And that's when Vaemon took his life in his hands and was like, "You know what? If I'm going out like a champ." He said, because let me rewind a little bit. Vaemon was making his case to Otto, Then Rhaenyra gets up to plead her case, and as soon as she starts talking, the doors open up, and it's Viserys on death's door, barely walking, but still mustered up the strength to come into the Red Keep to have his daughters back. And this was one of the best scenes in this. I mean, man, this was such a good scene. To watch Viserys struggle, and I mean struggle, to get up those stairs. And when he gets to Otto Hightower, who was sitting in the Iron Throne, he tells Otto, "I will sit up on the throne today." Otto's like, "It's all you, King." This was such a good scene, and the way he's struggling to get up the stairs, and the guard tries to help him. He's like, "I don't need your help," and then he drops his crown, and he bends over to pick it up. And you see somebody there to help him. He's like, "I told you I don't need you." And then he looks, and it was his brother Daemon. When I saw Daemon was there to help him, I was like, that's that brotherly love. You can tell. Now, this is the thing I like. Say what you want about Daemon. We all know Daemon is no saint. But you can tell it affected him when he saw the condition that his brother was in. It affected him. He was very upset. He was hurt that his brother was like that. So it was a very, very good moment to see Daemon helping his brother up and then picking up the crown. He sits, and then when he sets the crown on his head, I was just like, ooh. That was a very powerful scene. It was a very powerful scene. Shout out to Paddy Considine for just crushing it as Viserys this season. I mean, he has crushed every scene he's been in. That last week, the scene. This week he had another great scene. I'm gonna get to that. So Viserys is now on the throne, and he's like, "Why are we having petitions over an already settled succession? I already told y'all Lucerys is taking over Driftmark." Vaemon is like, "I don't care what you say. I ain't about to have no white boy take over my family land." And that's not what he said, but that's pretty much what he said. That's not verbatim, but that's what he said. And Viserys is like, "Careful." And then Vaemon was like, and just took his life in his own hands. And was like, "That boy is not Valerian. He is and then he stopped. Daemon was like, "Say it, say it, say it." Vaemon looked around, was like, "He is a bastard, and she's a whore." I was like, "Oh, you're dead. You're dead." Viserys stands up. Mind you, Viserys is on death's door. I mean, he has 2 feet in the grave. The only thing left is for them to start filling in the hole, because this nigga is dead. He musters up the strength, stands up, and he says, "I will have your tongue for this." And he pulls out the Valyrian dagger. But before he could even take another step, my man Daemon just said, "Yakat," and chopped off the top of Vaemon's head. His tongue was still flapping. This nigga fell to the ground and said, Daemon said he can keep his tongue. Oh, it's one of the best lines of the episode. One of the best scenes of the episode. After that, Otto trying to be a boss. "Disarm him!" Viserys was like, "Nope, he's fine." It was so good. It was so good. So then, that basically settled that matter. Next scene, it shows during that scene, Rhaenyra steps up because Viserys is like, the only person who I'm even going to listen to on this matter is Rhaenys. Is Rhaenys Targaryen, the wife of Corlys Velaryon. So Rhaenys steps up and was like, "Look, Corlys wanted Driftmark to go through Laenor to his children, Jacaerys and Lucerys. So Lucerys is next up." Because if you remember, they know, but Corlys was like, "I don't care about the blood. It's the name. They boys have my name. Period." So that settled that. But the thing that was important, Rhaenys announced that she had accepted Rhaenyra's offer to wed her daughter, to wed Daemon's daughters to her sons. You know that Targaryen inbreeding, that's what they do best. But that will strengthen the house. Otto Hightower didn't like that news either. He did not like that news. So then the next, that was the first of all, that opening, that scene right there was just the top of the scene. So then Viserys is getting treatment for his wounds, and he tells Otto, I want to have dinner with my family. I want to have dinner with my family. So Otto's like, all right. So the whole family gets together. Viserys, Lucerys, Jaehaerys, Aegon, Aemon, Helena, Alicent, Daemon, Rhaenyra. I think Rhaenys might have been there. Baela, and Rhaena, and Otto. And I think that's everybody that was there. So the whole immediate family was there. Everybody's trying to get along, you know, they're talking. Viserys says, it does me so good to see all my family here, yet at the same time, it makes me so sad that y'all still can't get along. You guys and this constant bickering have killed me. I am dying because of you guys. So he takes his mask off, and you see, I mean, his whole face. He ain't got no eye. His eye's gone. He's dead. I mean, he looked like the Crypt Keeper. I mean, my man Viserys, if y'all don't let this man die, please, y'all are the worst family ever. The worst family ever. So Viserys takes his mask off, and he's like, I want you guys to see me as I am, the old man that I am. And I just want you guys to know, for the sake of this old man's soul, stop fighting. Please stop fighting. Please get along. For the love of my dying soul, please get along. And they actually listen to him. Rhaenyra stands up and gives a heartfelt apology and just shows props to Alicent. She's like, Alicent, we've had our differences, but more than anything, you have been there for my father. You have been by his side. I know you love him, and I appreciate you for that. Here's to you, and I'm sorry. Alicent's like, your words touch me deeply. Thank you very much. You will be a great queen. I'm glad we can make this up. And it looks like there's legitimate squashing of the beef, and there's a moment Aegon, still being petty, starts making jabs at Jacaerys, because Jacaerys is now betrothed to Rhaena or Baela, I'm not sure which one. And Aegon's like, so you do know how to, you know what I'm saying? Aegon's a little whore, so he's giving him smack. Jacaerys almost flashes. He stands up and he gives a toast. He's like, to my cousin, family, right? He gives a toast. Helena then stands up. She's like, I want to give a toast to Jaehaerys and Rhaena on their betrothal. It's not as bad as you. He'll ignore you unless he's drunk. I mean, just throwing shade at Aegon, who at this point is basically an alcoholic. And then there's a moment where everything's going good, and you see it, and there's music. Viserys is like, music, and there's music playing. Jacaerys and Helena are dancing, and you see it. There's a genuine moment where Paddy Considine is like, yes, thank you. This is what I dreamed of. I just want my family to be happy. This is what I dreamed of. Thank you for that. And it's a really good moment. I can't front. It's a genuinely happy moment, because you see at that moment the whole family is getting along. It only lasts for literally like 5 minutes. Because Viserys then proceeds to just get so sick they have to take him out. They have to take him out of the room. And the minute he leaves, the kids start beefing. The cooks bring in this giant pig, and they put it in front of Aemon. This giant cooked pig that actually looked good. And they put the whole pig in front of Aemon, and Jaehaerys and Lucerys start cracking up a little bit. And Aemon just snaps. He's like, one final tribute to my cousins, Jaehaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey. Here's to you. You're both wise. And he says, you're both wise and skillful. And then he said, I was like, don't say it. And strong. And it's like, oh, God. He said, here's to the 3 strong boys. So Jaehaerys is like, say it one more time, bitch. He's like, what? I'm just complimenting my family on how strong they are, nigga. Jaehaerys runs up and stools on him, nigga. Just yak. But, you know, Aemon's big. Aemon's bigger than all of them. So he's not even faded. He just pushes Jaehaerys down. Aegon grabs Lucerys and slams his head off the table. Guards come in and like, really, bro? They pull him off. And and there's this moment where Aemon and Damon have this face off. Damon steps in like, and he just stares down Aemon like, "What you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Ooh, I want to see that fight," because Aemon was trained by Kristen Cole, and we already know Kristen Cole beat Damon. He already beat up Damon in the first episode, so I want to see that. Let's see that. The beef is there, but the look that Aemon gave Damon, I was like, "Oh, you can tell that tension underneath was building." It was just really good, and then that scene ends, and then like the final scene of the episode is Viserys in his bed. Earlier in the episode, Rhaenyra had went to Viserys in the bed, and she asked him about the Song of Ice and Fire prophecy that he had told her about, and he didn't really give a response because he wasn't in his right mind. He was all doped up on milk and a poppy. So this time he goes back into the room, and Alicent comes in, and Viserys thinks that he's talking to Rhaenyra, but Alicent, and he starts to talk about the prophecy, and he says Aegon, the prince that was promised, and Alicent thinks he's talking about their son Aegon, which is again, why is stop naming your son Aegon? We wouldn't have this problem. We wouldn't have this confusion. There's just way too many Aegons, and so yeah, so she has that. So she's like, oh, okay, so Aegon is meant to be king, and so she now takes it as now she has to put Aegon on the throne because it's what Viserys wanted, even though that's not what he wanted, and she doesn't know what he's talking about. And then she leaves the room, and it's the last scene, and he dies. Viserys finally dies. I mean, rest in peace, bro. You deserve it was time. You deserve better. He was a good king, man. His family just did him wrong. Just did him so bad. But man, that was how the episode ended. But again, just another strong episode. Shouts out to Paddy Considine for being the pillar of this first season. Man, this show's gonna miss him. This show is going to miss him. But he was the only thing holding that family together. Now that he's dead, it's about to get bloody. It is about to get bloody. But we'll see what happens. Only 2 episodes left. This is another great episode, man. This show just continues to set the trend, baby. Just continues to be the front runner. So until next time, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Click those notifications so you know when I upload. Check out the travel vlogs, man. I got more Vegas videos coming soon. Until next time, you know how we do. Peace. 100, y'all.
I'ma go.